Welcome to another edition of the Real Energy Podcast. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with one of my good friends. Went to high school with him. He's here to tell his story. Mike, say what's up to the people in podcast land.
How you doing, everybody? Let's get things going.
All right, so Mike's with us today. He has an interesting story. So, you know, Haran, you were the one that, no, it was Tanya. Tanya, who's on vacation. Shout out to Tanya, right?
Stella's getting her groove back on vacation.
Yeah, Tanya's on vacation, getting her ginger on. So, has she gotten the ginger on yet?
Not that we know of.
No, I don't think she kisses.
She had one on the hook. She had one on the hook a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If you're a ginger and you're interested in Tanya, do let us know.
Yeah, just shout us out.
Reach out. Yep.
Shout us out on the podcast. You know, she needs a ginger in her life. So
She's gonna be so mad at us.
Was it gingerpatch.com?
I know. So, Tanya had told us that you had mentioned being on the podcast, and I said, "What?" Because, dude, I'm on social media, but
Right.
I'm not on social media,
Right.
so I don't really see a ton of stuff that's coming across. I post, but I really don't deep dive, right? But
Except on TikTok.
Except for TikTok. I get in my TikTok holes. I'm not gonna lie. So Tanya had mentioned that you had a story, and I was like, what does Mike have to say? So now I'm like on your page, I'm like, what? And then I noticed you were 6'5", bro.
Yeah.
So I saw a picture. Obviously, your legs were amputated, and I was like, what happened? So now I'm like looking at your timeline.
Yeah, this is a story. Yeah,
scrolling up. So, kind of tell us, man, what happened?
Yeah, it's weird. As far as Tanya's concerned, I just jokingly mentioned, hey, how about guest appearing on your spot? And
welcome to the trap.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Welcome to the trap.
Jeez, I said too much. Anyway, it's not a beautiful story. It's not a heroic story. It's not adventurous. I always tell people, oh man, this happened, cliff diving or
Wrestling a tiger.
Yeah, it was a shark, something like that. But yeah, it's not that glorious. Basically, it was a medical related. Forgive me, stroke's kicking in too.
It's okay.
But
hey, none of us have an MD here, bro. So
Hey, my basic life-saving skills are far.
I know. I'm going to need CPR before this is over.
You got a defibrillator around here?
Yeah,
we got something. It's going to hit you with some cold water.
But it starts with and the one thing that I'll tell everybody, and I'll preach this throughout the time that I have, is take care of yourself and go to the doctor if the slightest thing is wrong with you. So anyway, I had developed blood clots in my legs, and I ignored them. My legs over time started stiffening up, and I wasn't doing anything.
You knew it was blood clots?
No one... no doctor had told me that. I knew it was.
Okay.
This is the weirdest thing. Throughout my life, anything that's been wrong with me, I called it.
Yeah.
When I had appendicitis, I said, "Oh, I have appendicitis," and I went to the hospital.
It's an instinct.
Yeah, it's just weird.
So I'm just curious. I'm sorry, because I always say when we're on a podcast, someone's going through this, right? So like, what were the symptoms that made you think it was blood clots?
Again, like she said, it was more instinct. Just the feeling that your legs are stiffening up, they're shutting down, they're starting to ache, but really it was just instinct telling me these are blood clots. I had no experience with blood clots before this. I didn't know anything about it.
How old were you when it first started?
I mean, this was just a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I mean, the amputations were like last year, but this was a period of time, maybe 5 years.
5 years, okay.
Whoa, something happened. Everybody's out.
That was me. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Yeah, because my
Keep talking.
cousin's going through the same thing right
Keep
now.
talking.
I was gonna say, like, it was a period of 5 years from the time you started having this instinct and going through it.
The instinct and the symptom.
The symptoms. That's what I was more worried about, the symptoms.
And naturally, it started out very minimal.
Much, yeah.
Yeah, and that developed over 5 years, and that was a good long time.
Yeah.
Here's the kicker. From what I understand, about 5 years ago, I had an undetected heart attack. It went undiagnosed. I didn't know I had a heart attack. The only thing I can remember 5 years ago is walking through the kitchen one night, and I just blacked out and I hit the floor. And as fast as I hit the floor, I bounced back up and was like, I'm fine.
How did they know it was?
So yeah. In the hospital, when all these amputations went down, they noticed, obviously they were testing me up the wazoo for everything, and they detected a heart attack that long ago.
Wow.
And they said, you've had a heart attack somewhere along the line. Do you recall anything that happened? And that's the only thing I could point out was, I blacked out. Other than that, I felt fine 5 years ago. And other than, so things started to, I guess, progress from there. That started a blood clot in my heart. Then I got blood clots in my lungs. And then typically what happens, the blood clots go to your brain.
Right.
And you stroke.
Right.
And
that's it.
Most likely you die. For whatever reason, and the doctors can't explain it, instead of the blood clots in my heart and lungs going to my head, they went to my legs, and there they sat for several years. I didn't do anything about it.
Now, were you having any other symptom? Like you said that you had them in your heart and in your lungs.
No.
Like, were you having any type
No.
of...
No pains in your heart, no pains in your
None of
chest.
that.
No.
Like you maybe thought you had bronchitis or...
No, I chalked it up to, and I was getting out of shape and not, exercising or anything. So maybe I had a little shortness of breath, but that probably was, due to being out of shape. But no symptoms, as far as heart and lungs are concerned. I just rolled with it.
Now, what about once they had moved, because it took some time. You said it was like a 5-year span.
Yeah.
So once they had moved to your legs, like what were your symptoms at that point?
Well, it just goes back to the stiffening. I didn't really have pain. It was just stiffening and, really I thought it was from sitting. So honestly, sitting on the couch,
like from
just sitting around.
Like from a perspective of say sports. It was like
you working out sore? Was it like a working out
you
sore?
You felt like it was were you leading like a sedentary lifestyle? Meaning, more like sitting around a lot more.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. I went from like Haran said, a huge active lifestyle to mainly sitting around. The pandemic did that to everyone.
Yeah.
It slowly developed, and then it just it was stiffening. That's all I could really describe it. No pain per se, until one night in February of last year. The pain hit, and it got so bad that I couldn't even stand or walk. I crawled to bed. I couldn't sleep that night, and the next day, someone convinced me, my sister, convinced me to go to the hospital. And I rolled in on an office chair into the ER on a Saturday, and I told them I have blood clots, and I don't know why they listened to me that well, but they immediately put me on, like I said, blood thinners, and started getting the ball rolling. So they put me on a blood thinner. They got me in and bypassed one of the legs. What they claimed was the best.
So
one.
you had the operation that day that you went to
that night.
or that night.
Only one operation. One of the following several. The worst leg. They did a bypass on that night to clear out the blood clot and rejuvenate the leg, so to speak. Any of the blockage and so forth. Basically save the leg.
Yeah.
So they a day went by or what have you, Sunday. Then Monday they said the leg can't be saved. It's gangrene at this point. It's got to go. It just can't be saved. So they're going to amputate my right leg and at the same time do a bypass on the left leg, which was, the better one. And it had a potential for being saved rather easily. So go in, they amp the one leg, they do the bypass on the other, and I go back out into recovery, and I'm sitting in a hospital room for a couple days, and they're going back and forth trying to save basically my left leg now. They're trying to rejuvenate that. They're testing.
Just trying to get the blood flowing and stuff.
Blood flowing, nerves. My nerves had shut down. Yeah. Basically died or what have you. And they were trying to rejuvenate the nerves and doing all kinds of testing. And unfortunately, they were doing the testing so often and so much that I began to know what they were doing. And see that
they're getting ready.
It's not working.
It was not
Right.
So a lot of times when they go in there and try to clean out those blood clots, it forms more blood clots, right, because of injury. It can, right?
I'm on blood thinners for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And
Because of the ongoing blood clots.
Absolutely. And
Have they discovered what the
cause of
the blood clots?
They diagnosed me. I hadn't been to the hospital or seen a doctor in 15 years. This was my first time in 15 years seeing
I've got to ask this, and please don't take it as me being condescending in any way, shape,
That's
or form.
fine.
You seem to have a very preternatural instinct for what's going on, right? I'm sitting here the whole time. I'm sitting there going to myself, where is the opposite number of that is the self-preservation instinct. Because I know when I was younger, we were all younger, playing. Like I remember, I thought I tore my Achilles, and I didn't go to the hospital. I just wrapped it up, kept playing. But
I've done that.
Now my my left arm gets a little twinge. I'm like, oh my god, I'm having a heart attack.
Right.
And I start walking around and checking myself. So I'm trying to figure out where that. Like I said, it's
just so you know, there's 3 hypochondriacs on this podcast. Me, Haran, and
I check myself these days.
See, I am a little bit of a hypochondriac too, but then I'm like, I don't want to know.
She doesn't want to go to the doctor. She's a hypochondriac, and she doesn't want to go to the doctor.
Is that what? No, that's great. Is that what it is? You just didn't want to know these things?
Well, I took a spill Monday, and I didn't want to go to the doctor. I was going to take a shower and brush it off, but
we're going to become your podcast mates and drag you.
I'm getting a little weak just listening to the story. Like my body's tingling. I'm like, oh my god, I'm having a heart attack.
My fiance was trying to convince me. What the hell?
That's all right.
Go ahead. No, you can grab that.
I can't
That's
make
an
it stop.
ring. I like it.
So, anyway, to answer your question, affordability.
Okay, I can understand that. I can understand that.
Insurance.
You said, in the prep part of this that you.
So what were you doing for work before this all happened?
I was in the finance industry, credit card industry. I was relationship manager.
So it was an office job. So
office job.
So you weren't nothing strenuous.
No. But I had been laid off from that job, and that was around the same time all this started developing and started happening. So no insurance. I wasn't going to the doctor at all.
Not really moving, working out, just kind of just sitting at home.
Keeping my fingers crossed and hoping nothing
Hope for the
went
best.
wrong.
Hope for the best.
Yeah.
Hope for the best therapy.
I mean, it was stupid. It was
See,
just
I
a
work
bad
out
idea.
regularly though, so I'm not willing to do any more than I already do. This is it.
That's fine. But it's something you said was real interesting. Now you said
My cousin is actually, he's been going through the same thing. They just found blood clots in his heart and in his lungs. He's been in the hospital this year 6 times. He's 37.
But
he's on
39.
he's on
It doesn't matter.
He's on
young.
blood thinners right now.
Yeah.
But then
But he has a genetic thing. They said.
they said it's a genetic thing. So
Now that's the other question. But you said right there though, not stressful, right? Or not strenuous.
physical.
Well, see,
Physical.
yes.
I meant physical
Right,
work.
yeah, because
like
I'm
labor.
gonna tell you right now.
Right.
There are people who sit in offices or some of the stuff that I do as well. That their stress and strain is way more than anybody who's actually doing something physical on a daily basis.
But
The
you may not
property-
know.
And it takes that could take a much bigger toll on your body.
The property
Oh, for sure.
management job
Are you
that I
talking?
had.
Are you talking about stress and strain like mentally?
Mentally,
Okay.
Yeah.
emotionally, all those honestly are bigger in the long run than
He's right.
physical.
You're right, but
I was thinking more so because you get the blood flowing. You need to get your blood
Yeah,
flowing.
you would
walking around.
notice
Move,
labored breathing if you're working out more than if you're sedentary, right? Like,
Yeah,
so if you're
yeah.
someone who's sedentary, you may not notice a change because, so like Haran runs, at least 5 times a week.
Right.
So if he started to feel like I can't run those 2 miles as easily as I used to, you would notice some change where if you're just sedentary, you may not notice a change, right?
Steph, you were saying?
right.
Oh, I was just talking about strenuous jobs. I mean, I was a property manager, and towards the end of my stint doing that, I had no choice but to leave because I had landed in the emergency room 3 different times swearing I was having a heart attack, and it wasn't a heart attack at all. They're like, your heart's actually great, like this is stress, and they're like, but newsflash, you're going to give yourself a heart attack. Like, you are literally going to give yourself
You
one.
can literally think yourself
Into
Oh, for sure.
into,
of course, yeah.
which is why I worry about you all the time. We'll get that off the thing, and I worry about you as well because where one talks about it a lot, one does that, just that right there. That's what he's doing.
I'm thinking.
No, because when I had my own business and I was hauling cars, right, I was sitting in a truck for 8 to 9 hours a day just driving. And I remember coming home like after 6 months, like I need to move.
That's not a good.
As soon as I get off work, I would run around the block.
That's not a healthy career.
It's not. So that's why I asked that question. I wasn't sure.
I drive most days.
Then Keith, you do the same thing.
Honestly, that's right here. Like I get anywhere between 15 and 25,000 steps a day.
But you're out there moving though. You're out there getting out, walking around
I
whenever
actively
you can.
make sure as soon as
you're being proactive about your
So
health.
I tell you, Keith,
Right.
to answer your question, and I told her this,
Yes, sir.
is that obviously I have a physical job, right? So
Yes.
I'm not worried about my physical activity. My mental state is
Right.
what I
That's what I'm saying.
But I tell you, I tell her all the time, when I'm in my truck by myself, I'm cursing out everything and everybody. I'm letting it out.
See, I'm hoping nobody from.
He's cleaning the blood clots in his head.
I'm gonna tell myself right now, so I'm hoping nobody that work with it by yourself. There'll be 30 people, 40, 100 people. Mother, I'm cussing everybody. Now I say it really quietly, and it's just to myself. But
That's why you mumble all the time because you do that all day.
So when his veins are popping, it's like clearing it's flowing his blood.
And it's funny you said that. My therapist talks to me a lot about. He goes because I'm like, well, I don't want people to think I have road rage, and my wife's always telling me, "Oh my God,
Oh, you got road rage. You don't think you have road rage?
No, I don't, because the thing of it is, because we talk about.
You've got road rage, bro.
No, it's called because road
Hey,
rage.
you're not good when you're a bus driver, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's the thing of it. He
But
said,
when he's not on the bus, he doesn't have road rage.
bullshit. I cuss everybody out.
I was just trying to help you. I was just trying to help you out.
No, the thing of it is, I talked about
Poking the bear.
getting it out. That's why I was kind of
Stress, that's your stress relief.
Getting it out.
Yeah.
If you eat that,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking
I do it.
about.
I do it all. I'll do it all day, and I tell her
Get it out.
I told her the other day. I don't keep things in, man.
No, get it out.
And to my detriment, we'll get back to you 1 second. To my detriment, probably why a lot of people don't mess with me is that I am quick to tell you how I feel, and
Really?
one of the things that I have learned, is that just because I feel it, just because I think it, doesn't mean I need to say it. And I'm I'm working on that because I ain't gonna lie. I'll be crooked. I'm quick to turk.
You don't get in anybody's ass. What you talking about?
No, I'm quick. No, I'm quick. I'm quick to get on. You know why? Is because I just don't let people. I don't let people disrespect me.
But
you know
he does it in such a calm, flat tone when he does it that you don't realize it. That it takes you a minute to understand what he's saying because he's saying it without any
animosity,
type of voice inflections. No,
well, that's
you know
what
what I
he
mean?
said.
That's kind of a serial killer kind of way about it.
That's the bad part. It's cerebral. I can see what you're talking about. You think I have road rage because when it comes out like I'm gonna kill somebody.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just getting it out.
That you can. I looked into his eyes and I didn't see anything.
Yeah, when you see,
I didn't see anything. So you know what I'm curious about, man. And like he said, you were self-aware. You kind of knew everything, right? I'm having a hard time. Dude, when I feel something, I'm not a hypochondriac, but man, when I feel something, I'm like, all right, what could this be? And I hate the doctors. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't mind them, and now I
now you
couldn't
understand.
possibly mind them.
Right.
I mean, I see doctors pretty much every day of the week right now, but no financial. That was the biggest problem.
When he said that hit home.
Yeah.
Yep.
That hit home.
Yeah. There was no way I could afford it, and I was afraid to go to the doctor. I was. For anything.
We have some questions from our wonderful podcaster Tanya,
Ginger lover,
who's a ginger lover who needs to get her ginger on.
Any gingers out there? We have Tanya here.
She's gonna get so mad at us, but this is so fun.
I know.
If you're a ginger on the island,
It's
look
so
out.
fun.
Isn't there a ginger site?
Gingerpatch.com.
Gingerdate.com.
Gingerdate.
It's Ginger Patch, I think it is.
So her question
Ginger
is,
Mingles.
How did the incident affect your psyche at the time? Oh my God.
Why do you let it?
BBW seeking ginger male.
Ginger Mingles.
Oh my God.
I love it.
How did the incident affect your psyche at the time, and how has it changed today?
Well, they got me all hyped up on pills, so I'm feeling good right now.
Might lose.
Yeah.
Pain pills?
Depression pills, everything.
Yeah.
Not so much pain.
Anti-depression.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just joking.
Yeah.
Makes you want to get depressed.
I'm joking.
But man, how has it changed me? I had an answer for it, and I lost my train of thought.
Oh, that's age. We all getting that.
I know.
We're all there.
All right, so I think this will jog it. I think I'm gonna ask a question, but I think this will jog your memory. When they told you had to get both legs amputated, what did you think?
Now I recall what I was thinking. To be honest with you, I was an emotional roller coaster. I felt every emotion known to man all at once.
I imagine.
I went through it all. I went through. Ultimately, I got to say I was kind of cool with it. Scared to death. Right. Didn't know what was going to happen, but I was just faced with, you don't have a choice. So this is going to happen. They told me you're going to lose this leg. There were days between the next one, right. And they kept putting it off. The surgeon wasn't available and so forth. So I was on the hook, and knowing that I was going to lose my other leg for a couple of days.
So you knew it. You knew it was coming.
So, he's already explained this. He's got. I'm telling you, he has a very preternatural thing about knowing what's going on. So
here's the crazy part. I also self-diagnosed my stroke because of the blood thinner medication that they had put me on while I was waiting on the amputation of my other leg. I told my then girlfriend, fiance now, that I felt funny. I felt like I was having a stroke, and the doctors came in, and I was telling them, I don't feel right. I feel like I'm having a stroke, and my vision's going away. I mean, literally leaving. And that was a Thursday. So my first amputation was Monday. Thursday, they went in for emergency surgery. They said, something's wrong with you. Let's get this other leg amputated. And I ended up having a stroke on the table.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Because of the blood thinner medication. I was allergic to it.
Oh, wow.
And so that on top of the amputations, it was kind of a blessing because I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
I was in la la land mentally, not because of medications or anything. Yeah, they were keeping me properly amped up on meds, but nothing extreme. They were just keeping me going and keeping me relaxed, keeping me calm, because I was ready to freak out many a time, but I just so I was in la la land. It was funny because after the amputation and stroke happened on Thursday, my fiance came to see me on Friday, and she came to visit, just a normal visit, and she was asking me all kinds of questions, simple things, what do you want to eat, or how are you feeling today? I could say one word, okay, and I had a smile on my face the whole time, just smile. She, no matter what she asked, it was okay, and that's all I could say. I didn't know where the hell I was
Because of the
stroke.
The stroke. Mm.
In my head, this is the weirdest thing. In my head, I was normal.
You were talking to him.
You were having a full
I
blown
was
conversation.
full-blown conversation.
Trapped in your own self.
But
can you tell when you were talking that it wasn't coming out right?
no,
You had no idea.
Wow.
like he said, I felt like I was conversing just like we are now. But all it was coming out was okay. and like I said, big smile on my face.
Wow.
So that really helped.
That's from the blood
That's
from the blood
horrible.
thinners, right? The blood thinners caused that to happen. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So that helped me transition into real life. It kind of softened the blow because I didn't know what was going on. And, afterwards, things started to calm down. I think it was Friday, my fiance saw me. My sister saw me on Saturday and Sunday. She reported back to my fiance and my family that he was a little off.
Yeah.
Really? No.
Yeah. And then Monday, my fiance came and I was coming back. I was coming around. I was, a lot more coherent than before. And they had occupational therapists come in, do all these tests, cognitive tests, and I failed those. So it just got down to, is he going to bounce back and recover? And, I did. I was in Mount Vernon, Inova Mount Vernon Hospital, outpatient or inpatient rehab for about a month, going through all of that. One of the questions Tanya had asked was how did it affect me emotionally and so forth. The psychiatrist, the hospital appointed psychiatrist, came to visit me quite often. And there was a focus on, basically, are you going to off yourself? If you
And that's a real question.
That's a real
dude.
question.
Yeah.
That's a real.
So
Then I have a question because you said your then girlfriend, now fiance. Like how did she take the news?
She was really strong. Leah, I love you very much. she's been my world, my rock. Like, I know there's
shout out to Leah.
Yeah,
let me meet Tanya for a minute. Leah, we love you. You're our sister for life.
So
that's
good.
a joke. That's
so
a joke.
good.
That's a joke because Tanya loves everybody.
Yeah,
You're my sister wife now.
So good.
My sister
So
wife.
Hey,
I love you.
No one has done more than. I can't explain it. I can't even tell you what she's gone through and everything that she's done for me and stuck by me. I've had conversations with people and a lot of them are like, she didn't have to stick around.
All right. So I'll give you Haran and I, we were setting up. We were talking. And I said one of my questions is that I wanted to ask, and actually Tanya asked the same thing, is how did it affect your relationship? And I told Ron said that's a tough one, and I said, well, it's a test.
It was.
Because if you make it through this, you're gonna be okay.
That's why I asked her to marry me.
You go through that crucible.
If you make it, like, literally, dude, if you make it through this, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah,
you're gonna be okay.
Yeah,
We've talked
absolutely.
We talked about crucibles and all those other things and other shows.
Absolutely.
This is another level right here.
Yeah.
You got yourself I'd go to war with her any day.
Yeah,
because somebody got your back like that.
That's exactly what I saw that, and it just amazed me. And she hasn't skipped a beat. She just keeps going. Yeah, we have our bickering days and. We have this kind of play thing where we bitch at each other, but it's serious but not serious. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It's a joking thing
Get
to
it
us,
off your chest.
But it's getting it off our chest. But going back to the psychiatrist and offing myself, they wouldn't release me really until I said the right thing.
Yeah. What were they looking for?
I'm not going to kill you or myself.
Here's what I said, and I never saw this psychiatrist again. Here's the answer I gave finally after a number of visits. I said, I can't bring myself to do such a thing, but if the plane's going down, I'll be the happiest person in the world. But I can't do it myself.
Gotcha.
It's not happening. But if there's a bank robbery or something, I'm gonna. What's that? Or like I said, the plane. If the plane's going down, I'm still reading the magazine.
What's the point of it?
There was what was there? There was like a TikTok or an Instagram, right? It was these people were like going at it in a restaurant, fighting.
Right.
And then you see this dude straight up eating his. He's eating his. He's like not minding. And I commented, I want to be that guy.
Yes.
I want to be that guy. I want to be like, the shit show is happening over here. I'm like,
I'm over here doing me.
I'm good.
Just don't come over and mess with my food.
Don't mess with my food while you're at it. So,
but Mike, you have kids, right?
I have kids.
Oh shit! Don't forget to shout out to your daughter.
Oh yeah, my stepdaughter,
yeah.
Talea. Talea.
She wanted to shout out.
Yeah,
when we were in the car. She was like, "Don't forget to give me a shout out."
And then
shout out to Leah.
Talea, we love you.
What is
You're a sister, daughter now.
That's a good name, Talea.
Yeah, Talea. And then my own daughters, Mindy and Lexi. So I guess they'll hear this. They might not. But
so did that? I mean,
it's changed now. My perspective has gotten better. Not 100%. I mean, I still kind of believe in that plane going down.
And you think they'll be okay? How old are your kids, if I may ask?
They're mid-20s, They're 21 and 23.
Well, you got some legs now, right? You're in the process of starting to walk normally, but not normally, but up on your own, right? So how long is that going to take before you can?
To each his own.
Yeah.
They keep telling me that. It depends on the person. You can't compare yourself to another.
Well, you. How long do you think you'll take?
I can't really tell.
Yeah.
I can't really tell you because, they heighten me. They're doing gradual changes and doing so many changes that I either regress or progress.
Each time it's an adjustment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're
there's-
kind of starting.
And right now, Mike and I were talking earlier, and I was like, Mike, you might as well just go for 7-2. Just go for a 7-2 and play some basketball and dunk on all these people.
that guy.
That's a bit much.
Yeah,
I do want those spring
Yeah,
feet.
the spring.
I guess I'm curious.
You wanna be a
because,
Blade Runner?
I've seen veterans on
Olympics.
Track.
Yeah.
And so I've never actually experienced the step because I've seen basically somebody gets amputated and then now they're like a full prosthetic, right?
Mhm.
So why the gradual steps?
Yeah, I started in what's called stubbies. They are, they're just like training wheels.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically, trying to get started. I mean,
But I would imagine it has to be that way because proportionate wise, right?
Right.
So like the majority of his weight, you know what I mean? Like he's got to get used to like each level of navigating his own body weight on something that's foreign on his body. So you can't just
Oh, okay. So it's a
Be
stability. It's a
7'2".
stability thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
he's 6'6". Would you say you were
6'5".
6'5", and then he's always walked with legs that are built for 6'5",
6'5",
right?
right?
So now
So
Your brain is still telling your body.
you're 6'5".
Exactly.
Yeah.
I still feel my legs to this day.
I was gonna say, do you have like
I was-
phantom itches?
Mike, I'm
or-
so glad you said that.
Phantom pains.
There it
up
is.
the waz.
Really,
Yeah.
phantom pains? Huh? That's a real thing.
It is a real thing, and I didn't believe him at first, but
So
man,
my
they'll kick
son's
in.
mother-in-law, I remember telling you guys, I think on the last podcast, that she is an amputee. She had her one leg amputated, and she's had her leg amputated for I think 20 years now,
Still.
and she still
Yeah.
has phantom pains in her legs, and,
Yeah.
and it's the same.
So the
pains
phantom
that
pain
led
is
her
basically where you
to
feel
the amputation.
Your,
Yeah.
your brain,
I feel my foot.
Your brain is still telling you, "Hey,
You have a leg.
my left foot's itching."
Yeah.
I can.
Does it feel better when you scratch
It's not. Itch.
Why?
It's not an
Why
itch.
this guy?
It's pain.
pain?
I equate it to. I've never been tasered in my life, but I equate it to being tased
Yeah.
in your foot or your ankle or something like that. It's just a real stinging,
Right.
quick, like electric shock,
Right.
and then it kind of goes away. May last 5 seconds, may be instantaneous.
Right.
Doesn't really last for a long time, but it can last a long time in pulses.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it'll pulse for.
I
like
remember
an hour.
reading something like that. Well, obviously, that's part of your. Your synapses are firing anyways, when it's moving thing, and that's part of they're firing off. But
a
there's
nightmare.
nobody there to receive the message,
Yeah, yeah.
and so
I can literally, in my mind right now, I can lift my foot.
right.
This feels like
lifting your
I'm
foot.
lifting my
You're
foot.
lifting your actual foot.
Yeah, my real
Wild.
foot.
The brain, man, the brain.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it is tricky. It's
So do you feel
confusing.
like there's any, and this is one of Tanya's questions, but I'm going to take it, like purpose? Are you one of those people that's like, well, I found that this is my purpose for this, the purpose of this happening has led me to X, Y, or Z? Or does it just kind of suck and you have to work through it? I mean, Mike allowed jokes, by the way, for anyone who's watching, who thinks I'm insensitive.
Earlier, I was going to say
Asterisks.
She's
Yeah.
capable of
Hey,
doing
I
it.
was going to say, don't y'all get on Melania because he talked about joking earlier.
Yeah, if we don't joke about it,
You gotta have
full-on
joke.
about
Yeah,
it,
you gotta have jokes. Yeah.
it's just
That's
gonna,
how I am with
it's
any
gonna-
tragedy. Yeah.
It's
So
just going to make things
Yeah.
worse.
Probably makes you happier, right?
It
Yeah, you need that. You
absolutely-
need that escape. Yeah.
I mean,
I would do the same thing.
you
to be
do,
honest, Mike.
you do
I would
stand
the
up
same
on
thing.
it, babe. You'd be like a
I
stand-up
would
comic
probably
on it.
do stand up and make jokes about myself. I would.
My fiance and I, we joke the whole time and talking about parking in a handicap spot, and some dude next to us hops out and he doesn't visibly have anything wrong with him, and then we're like, I get out with my legs, I gotta unfold my legs and be a real cripple, So,
But anyway, yeah. Do you find any, purpose in it?
I've thought about doing different things for others like me. There are a ton of organizations out there that do that. One of the things through the the company that does my prosthetics. They had a boot camp in DC, which actually kickstarted my mobility. It wasn't until I went to that boot camp that I had a bunch of doubts and
Right.
what my abilities were or could be, and they really did kickstart off, me walking and starting to come to life again.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have any why me thoughts in your head?
Say again.
Did you have any why me, why did this happen to me kind of thing? Sometimes when people, something happens, people are like, why me?
Yeah, and it's I've atoned for my sins, and this is that getting back at me again.
Karma.
Yeah, and all of what I've done, and people I've made fun of in the past, and yeah, it's you think of karma, but do you believe in that?
I do.
But
For right now,
So you're saying Mike is a bad person?
No,
I don't
I'm
think
saying-
that.
what I'm
I
saying-
don't think
what
there's
I'm
a
saying is
connection
you
to
all-
karma.
I'm not saying
I don't
it
think
in
you only believe
your
my-
I'm not saying it in your specific case, but I believe
That-
you know what it is. I have a saying that when it comes to karma is that the universe balances itself.
Right.
So at some point you might be up, you might be down, but everything reverts to the mean at some point.
You're going to reach your point of homeostasis and all
Yeah.
of it.
So
The philosophizers.
Do you think there's something
Aristotle,
different?
Socrates over there?
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe
sure.
it. I believe in karma, but this wasn't.
It's not connected.
This wasn't it.
No.
Do you think you could have done something different to prevent this from blood clots from happening?
Gotten in and saw a
Saw a
doctor
doctor.
earlier,
That's it. Yeah.
and gotten the clots cleared up before.
But you would have never known, though, right? That's
Well,
the thing.
because I didn't.
But
I didn't
doctors,
know.
you can't check for everything. You know what I mean? Like, it may not have come back in your blood work. You'd have to have an
Right.
ultrasound. So
Right.
sometimes
And that's-
stuff just, like you guys preaching about the doctor, like
Right.
they're going
right.
to do their standard tests. But if everything's coming back fine, why are they going to run 100
Right,
other
but here's
tests?
the
They're not
thing:
gonna do a
if he had
CT
been
scan.
going in and doing his once a year
Blood
blood work, once a year, just maintenance checkup, had that been happening, there would have been an opportunity for him to go, I had this weird incident where I blacked out in the kitchen, and they're like, oh,
Well, let's
let's
check that out.
let's check that out.
But
a
would they
little
have
bit. Let's give you
detected? Would they have detected the clots at that time?
They might have
by doing
detected
a heart
the-
attack check.
Well, if I said my legs are stiffening, and
Yeah.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
they may have
Done an
poked
ultrasound
and
or
poked
something
and
at
But
that
you
point.
let that go
Something.
way too long, is what you're saying.